GamesMaster. So, GamesMaster was a British television series about sort of gaming challenges and the occasional game review, and it ran from 1992 to 98, I think. But the magazine lasted a little bit longer, and the magazine was all about reviews and opinion pieces, and I believe these were a freebie given away with the magazine. So, the magazine ran for many, many years. I believe these are from 1999. They might possibly be a little bit older than that, but I think the newest game inside is 1999. And these are like top trumps. Video game battle cards, superheroes of gaming. Test your knowledge and battle your mates with GamesMaster's exclusive new card game. Yeah, it's top trumps, but video games. Let's have a look at the how to play. Any number of players can play. Simply deal out the deck face down until there are no cards left. Start of each round, each player's turns over their top card. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. Interesting stuff. So these are now 22 years old, I think. And they're in pretty nice condition for what they are. So let's get them out and have a look. Incidentally, GamesMaster is having a bit of a revival. There's talk of it coming back as some sort of celebrity-based rubbish on Channel 4. Ooh, first card, Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII being a PS1 game. Looks about as lavish as you can get. Thrills, doing a boss is a big thrill as you'll get. Doing a boss. Brain power, it's a real head-scratcher at times. 95. I don't recall Final Fantasy VIII being particularly difficult. Let's have a look at the interesting fact on the bottom. The graphics rendering for FF8 took so long that at one time over a quarter of the silicon graphics chips in Japan were working on some part of the game. Yeah, cool, I believe that. On the back, superheroes of gaming video game battle cards. Fair enough. What else have we got? I imagine most of these will be PS1 and earlier. There might be some Dreamcast in here too. Buster Move 3. Oh, I do love me some Buster Move. It's a puzzle bobble kind of shoot the balls and they all fall down kind of game. Pretty good. Civilization, format PC. Plain but interestingly detailed. So 57 for that. Final Fantasy VIII wins then. Sega Rally 2 on, yeah, here we go, Dreamcast. While SR2 is a top quality product, many folks were put out by its apparent loss of frames at just about every corner. Seems it's pushing even DC a bit too hard. Fair enough, lads. Driver for the PlayStation. Very nice. Soul Reaver, oh man, I absolutely love Soul Reaver. It's a Legacy of Kain game. I think it was the second one in the series, and it just looks and plays fantastic. It's kind of a platformer where you play this undead vampire guy, Raziel, and you get a laser sword arm, and you eat souls of the dead, and you fight your way out of purgatory, and you're a vampire, and you can fly, and it's an amazing game. What have we got? Looks lusher than Lara, especially the morphing. Soul Reaver is a product of Crystal Dynamics, who intended it as a rival to Tomb Raider 3. Lara's owners, Eidos, were so scared of it that they bought Crystal. I can believe that. Yeah, Soul Reaver's an amazing game. It was supposed to get a reboot a few years ago, Dark Sun, on Unreal Engine 3, and then that never saw the light of day, but there's a load of footage for it on YouTube, and it still looks really good. Maybe we will have another Soul Reaver game one day, or just a remaster of this. That'd be totally fine. Sonic Adventure, nope. FIFA 99. Yeah, so I imagine FIFA 99 is probably the newest game in here, but we will see. Format PlayStation. Pleasingly realistic, but just a tad jerky. Cuteness, not a jot. Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid's really good action puzzle game where you hide in a box, and yeah, that's pretty much your lot. You hide in a box and you shoot stuff occasionally. Virtua Fighter 3 TB is frankly awful beat 'em up, and the arcade version was a lot better, but it does justice to the Dreamcast, I suppose. Formula 199. Shadow Man. Oh, Shadow Man on the N64. Yeah, I played Shadow Man on the PlayStation 1 and on PC, and it's a much better game than the N64 one is because the controls aren't batshit bananas. Super slick N64 PC, plain ugly PSX. Yeah, it certainly is. Weird game, Shadow Man is. Everybody's Golf, fun little golf game. Quite interesting. Basically, pretty much good for multiplayer, not that good for anything else. Ridge Racer 4, bland, dull arcade racing game. Weird physics in it too, where you can't crash. Zelda, Ocarina of Time, N64. Zelda, innit? Pokemon, doesn't say which one, just Pokemon on the Game Boy. This might be the oldest game in here, actually. Despite being the latest thing in the UK, the red and blue games are almost 4 years old. Japan is about to be treated to the full colour silver and gold games. So that probably does date this then. 99 is probably a good bet. Mario Kart 64. Kart racing game. Dino Crisis. Oh, I love Dino Crisis. There's been loads of talk of remasters and remakes of Dino Crisis. This is from one of the later levels where the helicopter crashed and you run around and fight T-Rex. That might even be the final boss, if I remember rightly. But it's that sort of tank controls Resident Evil style game. Except there's dinosaurs and puzzles and you shoot stuff. Oh, cuteness. Cuddly Velociraptor, anyone? Dino Crisis is the latest game from the makers of Resident Evil and their first 3D adventure to boot. Upcoming Resi 3 is still a mix of 2D and 3D graphics. Yeah, so this is before the release of Resident Evil 3. Perhaps these are from 1998 then, rather than 99. Tekken 3, really good fighting game. Same as every other Tekken. Quake 2, oh, Quake 2 is a bit of a mixed bag. Looks brown and grey but sexy with it, yeah. I've got a lot of love for Quake 2 because it's kind of fun, but it's not anywhere near as fun as Quake 1 or Team Fortress. But then a lot of interesting stuff was done with the game engine, and now you can get RTX versions with crazy lighting. I don't know, Quake 2's a bit of a mixed bag. It's good on PC with OpenGL and some other mods. It's pretty bad on every console. Tetris. I imagine everybody knows what Tetris is by now. The creator of Tetris, Alexei Patinyov, made no money from his creation due to the Russian college he worked for taking all the rights. Yeah, fair enough, mate. WWF attitude. Awful. Tomb Raider. Oh, looks, in its day, it was simply gorgeous. I don't know if I would agree with that. I don't think Tomb Raider's ever looked particularly gorgeous, mostly due to the draw distance being appalling on it. Gore, a few dead wolves and dinos. I don't know if I agree with that either. The later Atlantis levels are all sort of weird inside-out flesh monsters, so there's quite a lot of gore in those. Wipeout 3, fantastic racing game. Actually better on other formats, not on PlayStation. I think there might be a PS2 version of Wipeout 3 that is much, much better. GoldenEye, pretty much the original first-person shooter. Perfect Dark would have been a Tomorrow Never Dies Bond game, but MGM, the owners of Bond, decided to make their own PlayStation game instead. Fair enough, I can believe that. GoldenEye is one of these games that's really well remembered and lots of fun with your mates, but is actually a little bit dull if you go back and play it now. There was a recent remake or remaster or something from a few years ago leaked for Xbox 360 recently. Mario 64, well, platforming with Mario. Resident Evil 2. Probably my favourite of the old tank control Resident Evil. You play as Leon or Claire and shoot some dudes. This has had a re-release, remaster, full 3D Gears of War Fat Space Marine version lately. That's pretty good as well. I still prefer this one on PlayStation. It's just better. Gore 96. Go on, blow the zombies' heads clean off. Fair enough. Weirdness, zombies, viruses, and huge gunplay. Okay. Command & Conquer. Oh, this is the original Command & Conquer rather than Red Alert. Red Alert is a pretty much just the same game but better in every way. The thing I always remember about Command & Conquer is it had live action cutscenes which were amazing because they were all done by actors paid about 4 pence. And the voice acting's pretty incredible. Time Crisis. Oh, I did a 1 minute memories on Time Crisis recently. It's a brilliant game. It's an arcade shooter. Where you use a light gun to shoot things and then shoot off screen to reload, and stuff explodes all the time. Pretty good. Interesting fact. This was the first game to use Namco's light gun, the G-Con 45, even though there was already another standard weapon produced by Konami. Yes, there was. Soul Calibur. Oh, Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. Soul Calibur is an amazing fighting game with based on sort of weapon combat rather than fist fighting. It's really, really good, but Soul Calibur 2 is better. In fact, Soul Calibur 2 is pretty much the standard for weapon-based fighting games, even now, because it was so good. Soul Calibur 1 on the Dreamcast is fine. Interesting fact, the Dreamcast Soul Calibur actually looks better than the already gorgeous original arcade game thanks to the extra power of the DC. It's amazing. Yeah, not sure I'd agree with that. I seem to remember Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast being a little bit janky and a little bit jerky and dropping frames in any one of these environments that had complex backgrounds. Crash Bandicoot 3. Yeah, platformer. Pretty good. Interesting fact, Crash's Christmas '99 outing won't be in another platformer, but in a kart-style racing game, Crash Team Racing. Crash 4 will probably appear on the PlayStation 2. Yeah. Crash Team Racing, incidentally, like Mario Kart, but if you like PlayStation, then better or worse. It's fine, it's just like Mario Kart. Anna Kournikovas Smash Court Tennis. ISS Pro 98. Weirdness. Some of the players' haircuts. Yeah, fair enough. Despite being outsold every year by rival FIFA games, this is still the best footballer on the PlayStation without question. Fair enough. GTA, original GTA for anyone who's not seen it before. It was a top-down shooter. Slightly weird perspective for some of the buildings, but it was. It says 2D, but I could swear that some of the environment is 3D. Thrill, steal car, peddle drugs, get money. Yep. Gore, tiny squelches litter the pavements. Interesting fact, while the PC version looked cool, the PlayStation title was a shocking affair boshed out to meet a tight deadline. Fortunately, GTA 2 is way better. Oh, I'm not sure I'd agree with that. GTA 2 certainly looks way better, but all the car physics are dead weird and it's like driving on ice permanently. I think GTA 1 actually holds up better. And GTA London that was set in the 1960s, where you could drive minis. That was pretty good. And last up is Gran Turismo, which was pretty much your grandfather to things like Forza, where it's a really sort of realistic racing game, none of this arcade nonsense. I seem to remember GT 1 and 2 did actually come with an arcade disc, which was more like a Ridge Racer. So you got your super realistic racing game and your arcade silly driving game all in one. Interesting fact then, Gran Turismo is the single most popular PlayStation game in the UK. Having done the business at full price, it also proved persistently popular on Platinum too. Yeah, I can believe that. It's not a bad game at all. And that is a Skyline or Nissan Silvia or something. Yeah, interesting times. So, well, these are a weird thing. They've survived pretty well. They're in very nice condition for 1998, 1999. But, I don't know, you probably get some fun out of these. They'd be about as much fun as Top Trumps. It's nice to have a look back at old games and remember that most stuff now is quite a bit better. Especially when you look at things like FIFA 99 and Driver. Driver's one of these games that I just couldn't get into. After playing Carmageddon for years on PC, you then get Driver on PlayStation where you can't run anyone over and, I don't know, feels a little bit dull. Put Final Fantasy VIII back at the front. Alright lads, you stay over there. Well, that was a little bit of fun. Let's see how Channel 4 stuff it up this time.
Subscribe for more.